Hello everyone, welcome to Say It with Roz. I just want to talk briefly on this budget bill that everybody's all up in arms about, that the Republicans are trying to pass. And mostly what I hear about it is, the cuts to Medicaid, and how detrimental that would be to many people. But I wanted to see exactly what was in that bill, so I went out there and did a little research to see if I could get something on what all was in that bill. So I'm just going to briefly name the things, and you can go out there and look for yourself, just go out there and do a search on what's in the GOP budget bill, or the Republican budget bill, and you'll get a list of things so you can see for yourself. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just going to really just name the things. Of course, we all know about the tax cuts, So it says tax cuts for individuals and businesses, and let's see. So tax cuts, for people that already have money. And I don't, let's see here, will the little people, will we get any, will people like me get any tax breaks? Let's see here. Well, I don't know. I can't determine. It says Republicans look to make permanent the individual income tax cuts passed in Trump's first term in 2017, plus enact promises he made on the 2024 campaign trail to not tax tips, overtime, and interest on some auto loans. I don't know if we got a whole lot of... I know back when he first did those cuts, if I remember correctly, the cuts that the regular people got were only for a certain period of time. But the cuts to the people with, the big money and businesses and all were permanent up until, I guess, they expire, which they're about to do, I guess. So I don't know if the little people will get, if we'll get tax breaks or not. I'm not sure. You'll have to do a little research on your own to find that out. Or if I find it out, I'll let you know. Okay, another thing was, they're saying MAGA kids $1,000 savings accounts. I'm just going to read this. MAGA is shorthand for Trump's signature line, "Make America Great Again." But in this case, it means money accounts for growth and advancement. Okay. For parents or guardians who open new MAGA accounts for their children. How do you get a MAGA account? I don't know. The federal government will contribute $1,000 for babies born between January 1, 2024 and December 31, 2028. I don't know if that just means if you open an account up for your kid, or is there an account called money accounts for growth and advancement? Is that a specific type of account that you have to open. And I assume this is for anybody. But anyway, that's what it says. Okay. Also, funding for Trump's mass deportation operation. You know, so they want money to do all of this deportation. Okay, tax on university endowments and overhaul of student loans. I've seen a lot about the student loans. You know, they're not going to get that forgiveness that they thought they were going to get, you know, that was happening under Biden. They're going to be required to pay those loans back. And I guess checks are going to be garnished to get that money. It says the proposal would replace all existing student loan repayment plans with just two. A standard option with monthly payments spread out over 10 to 25 years, and a repayment assistance plan that is generally less generous than those it would replace. Okay. Among other changes, the bill would repeal Biden-era regulations that made it easier for borrowers to get loans canceled if their colleges defrauded them or closed suddenly. There would be a tax increase up to 21% on some university endowments. So, Lord forbid those that have those student loans. I put out a video a little while back about a program that my sister has put together to help people, you know, get money for college to avoid student loans. And it's done through scholarships. And she did this for two of her daughters. She actually did not have to come out of her pocket for little or no money, you know, to get her girls through college. And they do not have any student loans. I put that video out there, and the information on how to contact her. So if anyone's interested, you can go back, and it wasn't that long ago, maybe a couple of months ago or so, that I put that video out. So there's a way if you're willing. Okay, more drilling, mining on public lands. So they want to be able to, I guess, drill, baby, drill. You know, on land and places that normally we would not be doing that. You know, I'm sure to preserve, you know, natural resources and, you know, things like that. But this current set of folks don't care about those type of things. They're all about the money, not preserving land and resources and, you know, natural habitats and all of that stuff. They don't care about those things. So that's what I saw in one article. Now another one, let's see here. Another article was saying that it would be the largest Medicaid cut in history. So they really want to cut that Medicaid. And I mean, it just doesn't seem right, you know, to do that, to take away people's health care. to give people that already have a lot of money, you know, tax breaks. I don't understand that. I wonder, I just don't believe all of the rich people are millionaires, billionaires. Do they really want that? I don't. Some of them probably don't agree with that. I mean, if you're already swimming in money, why would you want to take away things from poor people, you know, that are just trying to make it? You know, you can't take that money with you, people. You know, so anyway, they're also were saying that it would be a big cut in SNAP, you know, food stamps, EBT. They want to cut that. And also there was something about people would have to work, have some type of, let's see here. Yeah, parents and older Americans face work requirements for food assistance and requirements for Medicaid. So I guess if they think that you're able, you know, to work, now who determines that? I don't know, you know, that you'll have to, let's see, what does it say exactly? House Republicans are looking to shift some of the cost of the Supplemental Nutrition and Assistance Program known as SNAP to the states. States would shoulder 5% of benefit cost beginning in fiscal 2028 and 75% of the administrative cost. Currently, states pay none of the benefit and half of the administrative costs. Republicans also are expanding the work requirements to receive food aid. Under current law, able-bodied adults without dependents must fulfill work requirements until they are 54, and that would change under the new bill to age 64. So I guess instead of you having to work until you're 54, now you'll have to work until you're 64. Also, some parents are currently exempt from work requirements until their children are 18. That would change, so only those caring for a dependent child under the age of 7 are exempt. At the same time, the legislation would invest $60 billion in new money for agriculture programs sending aid to farmers. Okay. And the new work requirement for Medicaid. A focal point of the package is nearly $800 billion in reduced spending in the Medicaid program. That's a lot. To be eligible for Medicaid, there would be new community engagement requirements of at least 80 hours per month of work, education, or service for able-bodied adults without dependents. The new requirements would not kick in until January 1, 2029. So I guess there's some time in that. Trump leaves office. After Trump leaves office, people would also have to verify their eligibility for the program twice a year rather than just once. Okay, so I guess that wouldn't kick in until 2029. So I guess it would not be immediate. Okay. Well, okay. Well, that's what it says. Okay. Also, no taxes on gun silencers. Wow. No money for Planned Parenthood and more. Okay, let's see what that's about. It says Republicans are also using the package to reward allies and disadvantage political foes. The package would eliminate a $200 tax on gun silencers that has existed since Congress passed the National Firearm Act in 1934. The elimination of the tax is supported by the NRA. I didn't know there was such a thing as a tax on a silencer. Why do people want a silencer anyway? Okay. The group Giffords, which works to reduce gun violence, said silencers make it more difficult to recognize the sound of gunfire and locate the source of gunshots, impairing the ability of law enforcement to respond to active shooters. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm wondering, why do people want silencers anyway? Okay. Republicans are also looking to prohibit Medicaid funds from going to Planned Parenthood, which provides abortion care. Democrats say defunding the organization would make it harder for millions of patients to get cancer screenings, Pap tests, and birth control. Okay. And the bill would allow the Trump administration to remove the tax-exempt status of nonprofits that it says support terrorism. That will create what some nonprofits say is an arbitrary standard to financially punish charities that advocate for issues that don't align with Trump's agenda. Okay. You can do some research and find out a little more about that. Okay. Okay, I did that. Okay. Did that. Now this says the bill would cause higher electricity cost. Wind, solar, and batteries let me see, what does that say? I can't see that. Wind, solar, and batteries added over 90% of new generation capacity to the grid last year, thanks to falling costs. The House Republican bill would start cutting federal investment in building these crucial energy sources, undermining not only wind and solar, but also new battery storage, geothermal, hydropower, nuclear, and other clean energy technology at a time when electricity demand is increasing. So, and we've many of you have already know that the people on the right don't support these things, you know, the wind, the solar, and all of that, you know, climate change stuff. They don't believe in that. So I guess if they cut out all of that stuff, you know, energy costs could increase. I guess that's what they're saying here. Okay. They're also talking about the House Republican tax bill will take away support from households who are trying to afford an electric vehicle. The repeal of clean vehicle and energy credits. So I guess you won't get that credit that people have been getting, you know, when they buy an electric vehicle. So people will have to keep driving gas, you know, cars that need gas. Let's see here. Higher cost of financing college. So they're talking about the student loans there, you know. Try to avoid those student loans, people, if you can. I'm telling you, there's a way. Now, there are ways to get scholarships, to get different places, people, and things to, you know, give you scholarship money. I've seen it happen with my, like I said, with my sister who put her 2 girls through college. And they do not have student loans. Okay. Of course, the tax break for the rich. I talked about that. So I think that's all that I found on that, you know, what's in that bill. But I think the biggest concern is maybe 2 concerns, is the Medicaid cuts and maybe the food stamp cuts too, you know, people that depend on that. And the student loan thing, you know, people's checks are going to get garnished for that. So anyway, that's what I found out about what's in that bill. Do your own research. Keep up with what's going on. So, until next time, over and out.